It's time for me to get my first guppy tank, and I'm super excited about it, and it's gonna go right in here. Okay, so maybe not exactly right in here. From everything I've learned hanging out with a master breeder of guppies, who you can see in other videos on the channel, a guppy would hate this tank. So we are going to gut this tank. We're gonna strip it down. We're gonna get rid of all of this stuff. We're gonna build a brand new little guppy haven. We're gonna go back to the fantastic fish room. We're gonna get cool guppies in here. We're gonna breed them. And somewhere in this video, I'm gonna show you what I'm gonna do with these two. So this doesn't take a lot of talent. I'm basically gonna shut off the filtration, shut off the heater. I'm gonna pull out all of these rocks. I'm gonna drop them in a bucket. I'm gonna scoop out all the substrate. I'll use a siphon to vacuum out the remaining bits, and then we're gonna start building our guppy haven. Let's get going. All right, so I stopped the water from draining at this point because I want to use this 1/2-inch tube as a really powerful vacuum to get the remaining substrate out. Truth is, the water's so dirty that I probably can't see what I'm doing, but I'm going to give it a shot. And this is really designed so that you don't have to lift the tank up. This would be the way that you could get it perfectly clean without that. And the truth is, what I'll probably end up doing is I'll end up pumping more water back in here until I can just make the mix right to be able to get it all out. So let's see what we can do. So a 1/2-inch tube is no joke. If it gets clogged, all you have to do is kink it, and this stuff will drop out, even a large rock like that. Unkink it, and you're back in business. All right, so I'm putting some more clean water in here because I'm gonna use that to help my siphon vacuum out the rest of this. This isn't totally necessary. If you can lift this whole thing and dump it into a container, you can do that. I'm just doing this to demonstrate what you would do if you have a situation where for some reason you can't do that, you don't want to take all this stuff off, or you can't lift it. This is the way you get everything out without having to move it. So we got that cleaned up. That wasn't very hard to do. You're gonna lift some buckets of water, but other than that, not too bad. So let's get this scape going. So a guppy scape is not that complicated. They like a lot of room to swim. They don't like a lot of flow. They definitely like a lot of plant cover, so we're gonna give them all those things. I told you I was gonna show you how I was gonna use these, and this is something that's either gonna work and be super cool, or it's not gonna work, and then you'll know what not to do when it comes to building an aquascape. But because I'm gonna use gravel, and gravel isn't great for obviously rooted plants or root feeders, I'm gonna drop these in. I'm gonna put gravel around them, then I'm gonna put aqua soil inside of them, and then I'm gonna plant the plants inside of them, fill it with water, and then I'm gonna lift these off, and hopefully I get a nice little pod of aqua soil amongst the gravel. Now, of course, you could use root tabs and other things, but hey, let's try something cool. Ready? Let's go. I chose this pretty cool gravel from Aqua Naturals. It's got a nice neutral color. I wanna get some colorful guppies. I want them to pop, so let's get this in there. So the other reason I chose this gravel is it's super smooth, and I wanted to make sure that I didn't have anything jagged in here to hurt the little guys. So I'm gonna go get a piece of wood that's gonna lay across here, and I think in order to do that, I'm going to concentrate the plants over in this area. And what's kind of cool about this little trick is all I have to do is move these, and it doesn't affect anything. I've got plenty of room still inside. They're totally clear to put in the aqua soil. I got my contra soil here from UNS. I'm gonna fill up my little container here, which about there should work. All right, we got our substrate in. Let's go grab some plants and go grab a cool piece of driftwood that's already been soaking and ready to go. So we're over here at our community plant drop, which is kind of fun. Here in the studio, anybody who has extra plants can just drop them in here. I'm just gonna grab some plants I know guppies are going to love. Some of this Reineke rosifolia right here. It's got some beautiful leaves. This is gonna be primarily what goes in my little containers of aqua soil that we built. Check out the purple on those leaves. I'm also gonna grab some of this S. repens here. This has a lot of, it always surprises me what Starogyne repens what the root system looks like. It's massive on these little guys. And so I'm gonna come back and more delicately grab the floating plants. Guppies love floating plants. That's where their fry feels safest. But what I am gonna get is this really cool piece of driftwood right here. And I think it's gonna look awesome in this tank. Let's take a look at this really cool piece of wood, man. This has got a lot going on. I'm just gonna see what might look the best. I kind of like this. I can have a couple plants coming from behind it and then just a real open area for the guppies to swim around in. And I'm thinking about where that sponge filter is gonna go. Guppies don't like a lot of flow, so we're definitely not gonna reuse the canister filter on here. I'll take the biomedia from that, put in other canister filters so that we don't lose it. But I've got a pre-seeded sponge filter in a different aquarium that we're gonna grab, which I think I will put right back here as well. So behind the wood a little bit, sponge filter, couple plants. I'll have another plant in this corner here, and we're gonna be ready to go. Let's get some water in here, let's get the plants in there, and then let's see if our little aqua soil trick worked. So we got this thing filled up with water. We got our little canisters here, our PVC pipe that is protecting our aqua soil. I'm just gonna pull this off slowly and see if we can't leave like a nice little clump there. And then we'll get some plants in there. Now the idea behind this was to try to, just for aesthetics really, keep the aqua soil in a specific spot. You want it to look like a gravel bottom, but you know if you're gonna plant root feeders that they've gotta have either root tabs or they've gotta have aqua soil. We're going to plant right in here, but then we're going to put a rock on here that can hold it down. I'm gonna throw some of our S reapins in kind of a cool little clump here. When it comes to these little circles of aqua soil, I think you could either leave them as is, which actually looks better than I thought it would, or you could cover them with rocks if you want, or you could even take the gravel here and you could scoot it on top of it because the plant has what it needs, right? So whatever you guys want to do. So the next thing we're gonna do is get the sponge filter in here, which is already seeded from another aquarium in the studio. So we're gonna go grab that. This aquarium is really sweet. And I've been having this sponge filter in here for probably 5-6 weeks. It's totally seeded with beneficial bacteria. It's ready to instantly cycle that tank. So I'm just gonna get that unplugged and we're gonna take it over there. And then we're gonna go get our guppies from the fantastic fish room. We'll see you in a second.
Hey there.
What's going on, man?
Not too much. You picked a good day to come. It's 78 in here and what, -4 outside?
-4 outside. So we just need to know what are the fish that are going to be in my first guppy tank.
You got it set up.
What do you got for me? I got it set up. I'm excited about it.
With so many different selections, I had a hard time trying to figure out which one to have you start with, but this is one of the ones I started with.
Tequila Sunrise.
Tequila Sunrise. So,
okay.
You know, you can have a nice Tequila Sunrise drink as you're taking care of them, but literally that's how they got the name. Because they resemble the drink, the colors. Yep, and as we talked about before, let's go with 1 male and 2 females. So
we're gonna go Tequila Sunrise, and we're going to do a couple different ones, right?
Yeah.
So Tequila Sunrise, we'll get a couple of those. I mean, these red chocolate Moscow guppies are pretty awesome.
Those are rare, and I wanted to get you a couple of those too.
What about a couple of these guys?
These are another one of my favorite, Red Cobra guppies, and that's, you can see there's like 3 generations in there.
Really pretty.
Yeah, and so another one's that very easy, it'll breed real easy. So I think that's 3 great
I think that would be great.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
Let's go grab some bags and get started.
All right, Mike, we're all set here, man. I'm super excited. We got our Tequila Sunrise guppies, we got our red chocolate Moscow guppies, we got our Red Cobra guppies, and because it is super cold in Minnesota, we're gonna keep them nice and safe in here.
Exactly.
And we'll get them back to my tank.
Congratulations, enjoy. Welcome to the hobby.
My first guppy tank. I am back from the fantastic fish room. I got my guppies here. We got some floaters in the tank as well. The sponge filter has been running for a day, so we are set and ready to go. Let's float these guys, get them netted, and get them in there.